What's going on, everyone? Scott here. Welcome back to the channel. So Michigan State basketball gets the big-time senior day win against that school down the road, completing the sweep on the year and also completing 7 straight wins to end the regular season. And, of course, the Big Ten outright championship that they locked up on Thursday. But this was a game in which Michigan State played probably one of, if not their best half of basketball this season. In that first half, outscoring them 50-28. Second half got a little bit dicey at times. It was really a dominant first half, as we said, for Michigan State. But then, really, the first 8 minutes of the second half were like okay. But then, from like the 12, about the 12, maybe even 14-minute mark, so maybe like the first 6 minutes. But anyway, from like that middle portion of the first half till about like 4 minutes left in the game, it was really, Michigan was going on a run, but Michigan State had got up to a 25-point lead, at one point. So they were still clawing back, and you have to give them credit, not giving up and crawling back in this game to make it a little bit sweaty. Coming down the stretch, I think it got down to 12, 13, something with, the later half of the second half. But overall, at the end of the day, Michigan State was able to make enough plays, close it out. Trey Holloman was able to, make some nice plays towards the end. He had a really good game, career high for him, and we'll definitely get to that and everything else involving Trey Holloman and the end of this game here in a second. But first, before we do jump into the game, if you could just hit that like and subscribe button down there. More Michigan State basketball content on the channel, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a video. Before we jump into the Michigan State side of things, we will talk about that school down the road. Vlad Golden, he was very efficient, 9 for 12 from the field, 11 for 14 from the free throw line, had more free throw attempts than field goal attempts. But anyway, you had to give credit for the 29 points, 6 rebounds, 3 steals. So you had to give him credit. Danny Wolf as well. Really in the first half, I don't think he was being really aggressive. A lot of their team and offense, when you look at it, we know this team is really Wolf and Golden. That's what makes everything go. And, Wolf can create off the dribble, create things going. We see him, flirting with the triple-double last time out against Michigan State. And then in this one, has a solid game, but a lot of he had finished with 18 points. A lot of that was in the second half, and some of it was in that stretch that I talked about that things kind of got weird. Things kind of got weird in the game, and Michigan State was missing a lot of shots, and the game was kind of just going like, back and forth, up and down. They were getting some layups, and, things happened, and it was that shrunk the lead, and that's when a lot of his buckets come, but you still have to give him credit for 18 points, 13 rebounds, 4 assists on the night, 5 for 15 overall. He got to the free throw line for 11 attempts, 7 for 11 there. Give him credit, but really outside of them, Amari Burnett, 5 points and 4 rebounds overall. 2 points from Trey Donaldson. Again, I think that was the amount he had last time. It was 2 or 3. Reuben Jones had 3, and then off the bench, again, no help at all. LJ Kaysen had 2 points, Justin Pippen 2, and Roddy Gale 1 point in 23 minutes. But yeah, for Michigan State, did a good job defensively. Wolf and Golden are really good. They'll both obviously more than likely be on one of the 3 Big Ten, all Big Ten teams. So you have to give them credit for fighting, keep them in the game. But really, it was Michigan State was able to jump out to that big lead, and they weren't able to crawl all the way back. Finished the game 30 rebounds for them, and really it was the turnovers, 15 turnovers on the night for them, and that's kind of the game right there. Especially in that first half that allowed for that Michigan State 22-point lead at halftime. They were just throwing that ball around, and Michigan State was going up and down, and that's how Michigan State, as we transition into them, that's how they were able to start the game so hot, is they were throwing the ball away. Michigan State was getting and creating those turnovers, and then they were, getting out, getting to the basket, getting easy baskets at the rim, and then kicking out. Jaden Akins, hit 2 threes in the first couple minutes, Trey Holloman, and, things just kind of started rolling, and, that's where Michigan State was able to take advantage. But you look at Michigan State in this one, and, starting out with Jeremy Fears, He had 7 points on the night, six assists, was 7 for 8 from the free throw line. Only took one field goal, so did a good job of getting fouled, getting to the line. Had 3 steals as well. The 5 turnovers, got to clean that up. He had 4 fouls as well, but he was in it. He was there. He is definitely an emotional leader. Him and Trey Holloman, who we will definitely get to here in a second. But emotional leader, I mean, we were 34 or something seconds into the game, and he was, Trey Donaldson was kind of, they were having some words back and forth after Trey intercepted a pass at half court, threw the ball off him, going back to Michigan State, and he's in Trey's face, clapping. Izzo pulls him to the side, like, love this. This is fine. Wasn't reading lips, couldn't see it from where I was sitting or rewatching the game afterwards, but pretty sure was saying like, hey, love this, but do not get a technical 34 seconds into this game. And he didn't, but we needed that emotion all night long from Jeremy Fears. I thought he had a solid game aside from the 5 turnovers, 4 fouls, but the fouls, we don't talk about fouls anymore on this because it's just the college basketball refs are just insane. Well, always every single game you can say, unbiased opinion for either side. You can say refs are bad. So, but the fouls, weird ones across the board. The same thing that you could say right there, but definitely got to clean up those turnovers though going forward. Into the postseason, Jackson Kohler finishes with 9 points, 7 rebounds, 2 blocks on the night, and then off the bench, Cohen Carr, 4 points in 17 minutes for him. Xavier Booker got in 7 minutes, didn't score, did have 3 fouls, grabbed a couple rebounds, 0 for 2 from 3. Carson Cooper was solid in his 20 minutes off the bench, had 4 points, 8 rebounds overall, and 4 for 4 from the free throw line, which was huge. And then closing it out, we'll start with 2 of our seniors. Simone Zapala, 11 minutes, 1 for 1 from the field, and his bucket was like I think it was the very last bucket that was scored in this game. Jaden Akins got his 11th points before we get to him here in a second, but he got that on a nice little, sidestep bucket from just outside the elbow to get his 11th point. He got that, then the next time was dribbling the clock down, and he went to the basket. Missed a layup. Simone was able to grab that rebound and go right back up with it, but he finishes with 2 points and 3 rebounds on the night, an assist and a block as well. His last game in the Breslin Center, and obviously very grateful for his year, even though he's only been here a year. He's played his role on this team and been a big part of where Michigan State is right now, outright Big Ten champions, and the number 1 seed going forward in the Big Ten tournament, and seemingly locked into a 2 seed, possibly if some scenarios break different ways, possibly push for a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. But shout out to Simone, and then really you can say similar about Frankie Fiddler. We kind of talked about beforehand, but he finishes his last game in the Breslin Center. 4 points, 1 rebound, 1 for 4 from the field, 2 for 2 from the free throw line. But you can say that about him as well. We kind of said it in the preview for this one, but he, comes into the year and someone Tom Izzo says like Jaden Akins and him, they've got to be our guys. And then, like a month or so into the season and things weren't going, need to go shift things around. He, switches into a new role coming off the bench, and he just does his job. He's like, I mentioned the Stephen Brooks interview that saw on Twitter that he did with him, and the little clip excerpt that, Stephen Brooks posted on Twitter. So go catch out or read the whole interview there, article. But he said, like, people might say the grass isn't always greener, but in my opinion, we're a top 10 team in the country right now. We just won the Big Ten. So I feel like this year has been incredible, and, absolutely just love this attitude. Their senior day videos afterwards, both Simone and Frankie both talked about the culture of Michigan State and being a part of that. And I just think that's what they were able to just embrace the culture, learn the culture, and then just fit right into that. And obviously both be big parts of this team. Next, before we get to our last senior, Trey Holloman. 26 minutes, 8 for 12 from the field, 3 for 5 from 3, 1 for 3 from the free throw line, career high 20 points, had 3 rebounds, 1 assist in this one. But obviously the big moment that everyone will talk about, and I don't want the career high 20 points to go by the wayside either. That's obviously really good. Again, three three-pointers against that school down the road. Same thing that we saw traveling to their place, to Chrysler. couple weeks ago, had three threes in that game as well. Him and Jaden Akins both led us with three 3-pointers in that category for a solid shooting night for Michigan State. But of course, everyone wants to talk about the end of the game where Michigan State, obviously, I'm not going to go through the whole thing. You've obviously probably watched it, seen it, but just my take on it. The two players from that other school were just standing on the logo. I won't listen to any argument saying that they didn't know what they were doing or they're freshmen. When one kid was recruited by Michigan State, had come to a visit to Michigan State. So, I think these players and this coaching staff knew what was going on, what was going to happen, and you actually see, and they said it after the game, that Trey and Jaden both asked the players to move, and they didn't move. I know it's multiple people have brought it up too, putting the picture side by side, but I mean, this is classic. I mean, this is, very similar to Devin Bush before that 2018 game in Spartan Stadium. Wouldn't move, knowing that Michigan State always did the walk the 100 yards thing, locking arms, didn't move, and then, oh my God, something happened, pushing, shoving happens. Let me stomp on the logo and yell at staff workers that work on the field, and yell at all these people, and just play like I didn't know what we were doing. I'm just out here. They knew what they were doing in that moment. And Trey, they were both asked to move. Probably not just once, probably twice. Like, hey, can you move? Like, yo, like move. They didn't do it. So as Trey said in an interview after the game, like they were gonna let our guys kiss the court, whether they moved or we went and moved them. So Trey went and moved them, and it really came, obviously, technical foul. But, besides that, I loved it, obviously. And it seemed like Tom Izzo loved it as well after the game. He brought Trey up. He's like, I don't want you doing that all the time, but understood it in this moment. And, he even referenced the 30 years ago when that team, whatever it was, the Jalen Roses, the Fab Five, whatever that team that came in and, acted like they were wiping their, what's on the Spartan S at the time. And I mentioned that too. And he even told Trey, like, kiss that Spartan head, you deserve it for sticking up and defending it. And I even saw someone say that Trey had already heard from, Cassius, Mateen, after the game, like thanking him for sticking up for the tradition that is Michigan State. So, that's where I stand on the thing. Obviously, not a shock. You're watching a video of a Michigan State fan sticking up for Trey for doing that. But even I've seen too, and you take your Michigan State hat off and look at it. It's like, okay, you look around the country, and I'm pretty sure anyone who knows like anything about Michigan State, like you don't have to know a lot, know about this tradition or have seen this tradition, before, clips of this tradition, whatever. So yeah, it is what it is. Not surprising, but we'll leave it at that. Shout out Trey Holloman for the career high 20 points in this game, and obviously being one of the emotional leaders of this team as well. So shout out Trey again, another incredible game here. And actually, before we get to Jaden Akins, we have Jace Richardson as well. 30 minutes in this one. 18 points, 3 assists, 5 rebounds, 6 for 10 from the field, 2 for 5 from 3, 4 for 4 from the free throw line. Just overall, more of what we've seen from Jace Richardson, especially over this last month or so. Just so poised, calm. 2 turnovers in this one. I think that's the most he's, I don't think he's ever had more than 2 turnovers in a game. And, just poised, timely buckets, just being able to get to the lane, finish around the basket, creatively, hit his jumpers. But then when the clock's, rolling down, shot clock's going down, he's just calm. He's not, a true freshman, you would think, usually like make a quick decision. But no, he's calm, he's collected, he's, getting to his moves, getting to find something, whether it's his shot or to dump off, shovel pass, or, cross-court pass, dive, to the opposite corner or something. He just does all the right things and, can't wait. I mean, the crowd was chanting one more year for him, and he was kind of like looking around and he kind of like looking up because everyone's looking at him. And it's kind of like that meme picture, like you talking about me? And it's like, yeah, he projected the 10th overall pick in the NBA draft right now. We talked about it before for the preview in this one, but obviously would love him to come back, one more year, but obviously got to do what's right for him. in his situation. So we'll see, but obviously do hope that he comes back. But either way, if not, if that was the last game we saw in the Breslin Center, incredible way to go out for Jace Richardson, and hope that he can have a good end to this season as well as we head into postseason play. But then lastly, Jaden Akins. And Jaden Akins, we talked about it in the preview for this one, but overall, just an incredible person. Izzo talks about it all the time, how just the human being that Jaden is, you know, the student who he is, obviously on the court, the work that he puts in, but off the court as well. And just absolutely incredible. And there's been times that he could have left Michigan State, definitely, you know, maybe not getting the opportunities he wanted early on, and then having to play out of position for a couple years to, you know, accommodate the personnel that we had on the roster with AJ Hogard at point guard, you know, Tyson Walker, 2 guard as well, and him playing out of position. But as I said in the preview for this one, I think that actually kind of helped him, you know, kind of with, you know, where he's at defensively now, you know, in the discussion for Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year, and him playing out of position, guarding bigger guards and wings has definitely helped him. Now he is constantly, every single night, like, I'm taking their best guard, taking their best wing, and taking on that challenge, and just absolutely loved watching him grow throughout his career, through the ups, through the downs, and, you know, just an incredible guy overall. Finishes his Breslin Center career 11 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists on the night, 3 for 9 from 3. And when he gets it going in the Breslin Center. He hit a couple threes in the first half, got the crowd going, and that's when, you know, kind of started, you know, that run for Michigan State. I mean, the whole first half was kind of a run, 50-28 at halftime. But overall, love to see him have his moment at Michigan State here in the Breslin Center on his last game in the Breslin Center. So obviously hope that he can have a good finish to his Michigan State career in this postseason coming up, both Big Ten and NCAA tournament. Moving over to just team stats as we close out here. Holding that school on the road, 37% from the field, 13% from 3 on 3 for 24 shooting. Michigan State finishes 45% from the field, 9 for 24 from 3 on 38%, 20 for 24 from the free throw line. So slowly working back, as we kind of talked about. You know, Izzo said, you know, free throws have kind of gone downhill, but solid from the free throw line tonight, 83%. They actually missed 8 free throws on the night, finished 72%, but rebounds 39-30, Michigan State advantage in that one. They had turned it over a lot, as we said, especially in that first half. And Michigan State was kind of in a good position in terms of turnovers in the first half, but then kind of, as we said, kind of that, you know, kind of middle portion to the last, you know, 4 or so minutes of the game, you know, Michigan State was kind of just throwing it around a little bit and, you know, turning the ball over. But overall, finished 15-15 each there, so definitely outside of that 8-12 range that we always talk about. But Michigan State finishes 14-9 in the fast break point category, and they actually got outscored in the paint, 22-30. I think that's the first time in a while they've got outscored in the paint. Don't quote me, but obviously, as we said, the lead got up to 25 for Michigan State in this one, and overall, just an incredible senior day for Michigan State, for the seniors, and then also the celebration of the Big Ten championship, raising the banner, first time in 5 years. Way too long. Do not want to wait that long to raise another banner. Hopefully we do not. But anyway, now we move on to the Big Ten tournament. So Michigan State will be the 1 seed playing on Friday at 12 o'clock. So there's a couple different scenarios, obviously, who they can play. They have to await the winner of 2 games, obviously the Wednesday game and the Thursday game. So we'll get into more of that. We will have a Big Ten tournament overall preview up on the channel before the first game start this week. So we'll be back for that, and then we'll be back for a preview for Friday's game as well for Michigan State's first game in the Big Ten tournament. And then obviously going forward for the NCAA tournament and on. But anyway, that'll do it for this one. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.